Victor Hugo is known for his most famous works, Les Misérables and Notre-Dame de Paris. But today I am discussing the first novel that he has ever written, which is called Han d'Islande. It was published in 1823 when Hugo was only 19 years old. Now, many readers say that it shows that it is his first work and it is noticeable, but I think that this novel is still better than most of the novels that are published today. It's so impressive that he wrote this when he was only 19 years old, and I really enjoyed this novel. So let me first tell you what this story is about. We have a young lady named Ethel Schumacher who is imprisoned together with her father. Her father was once a powerful chancellor, and now they are both locked up. Our hero is called Ordner Guldenløve, and he is the son of the Viceroy of Norway, so it's taking place in Norway. Ordner is madly in love with Ethel, and he wants to do everything he can to restore her father's honor. To do that, he must find a monster who is called Han d'Islande, and so he embarks on a dangerous quest to restore her father's honor. The story is set in Trondheim, Norway in 1699. You do not need any guides, any knowledge before starting to read this book. There is no need to look into some background information because it's quite easy to follow. Our hero, Ordner, he asks the help of a character named, I cannot really pronounce it, but I'm going to try, Benignus Figudry. We will call him Ben, okay? So Ben has to help Ordner find Han d'Islande. The reason why Ben needs to help Ordner is because he is accused of a crime that he didn't commit, and if Ben leads Ordner to the lair of the monster, he will help Ben in return to clear his crime. And so here is what Ordner says to Ben. I offer you my protection, but on condition that you lead me to the brigand's lair. Be my guide, I will be your savior. Nay, more, if I catch Hans of Iceland, I shall bring him here, dead or alive. You can then prove your innocence, and I promise to restore your office. Stay, meantime here are more coins than your place brings you in a year. Now, Hans of the Iceland, or Han d'Islande, is depicted as a brutal, almost supernatural monster. This is how Hugo describes him: a man or a monster with human face, whose nails are as long as those of Ashtaroth, who ruined us all, or of Antichrist, who will yet destroy us. The novel explores themes of justice, love, loyalty, and the battle between good and evil. There is also a lot of political intrigue concerning Schumacher and his daughter. If you have enjoyed Les Misérables or Notre-Dame de Paris, then I highly recommend checking his other works out too. You clearly recognize Hugo's style from the beginning, and it is truly wonderful to see how he evolved as an author. Listen to this because you can just tell that this is Hugo's style. Crime itself revolts at crime, and two evildoers conversing with all the cynicism of intimacy, of their pleasures and their interests, are like a fearful mirror, each reflecting the other's monstrous features. Now, as we know, Hugo was obsessed about writing monsters, outcasts, and there were a lot of pieces of dialogue actually reminding me of Notre-Dame de Paris. If you know his style, then you also know that he tends to digress from the storyline. But here in this novel, in Han d'Islande, it is not the case. I was really astonished by how little he digressed in this story. He focuses on the main storyline, and it actually feels quite fast-paced. The love between Ethel and Ordner stays very superficial. It's like a very romantic, distant love. But I did enjoy the beautiful way in which Hugo describes that type of love. Here is an example. Oh, it is cruel to live when we are parted from the object of our love. Few hearts have known this pang in all its extent, because few hearts have known love in all its depth. I enjoyed it a lot, and I laughed a lot. This is something that I think only Victor Hugo manages to do, and that is making me laugh while reading. I just get his humor. I also must say that my expectations weren't that high, because I've heard many readers say, oh, it's his first work and it shows. But you have to remember that he was 19 years old, and of course it's not going to be as good as Les Miserables. That would be crazy, right? But still, I think that this is better written than 90% of the modern novels out there. I think it's normal that he still needed to grow in his storytelling and in his characters, but I think that this is a great start. It's so good to see, and if you love his other work, then it is really worth checking out. Each character has his own motive, and it was interesting to follow their intentions, because we also get to experience the story through the eyes of the villains. There are so many elements in this novel that can please a reader. It has gothic elements, battle scenes, political intrigue, romance, and I think many readers will find something to love. If you decide to give it a go, pay attention to the similarities between Frankenstein, if you've read it, and this novel. The descriptions of the surroundings of nature, the gothic elements and the gothic surroundings, and then we have, of course, a monster who is rejected by society. Also notice how the dark settings reflect the emotions of the characters. Also pay attention to how Hugo uses hand to explore themes of monstrosity, both moral and physical. You also notice how the Icelandic setting is almost a character in itself. We have a contrast between the harshness of nature and the civility of society. The novel focuses more on adventure instead of romance and political intrigue, but all of the elements are there. We have, on the one hand, the ruling class and then the oppressed class, and this is something that we will see in his later works as well. Let me put this book aside. So, if you are wondering whether or not this novel is for you, first of all, if you prefer realism and you don't really like these supernatural elements and very dramatic events and characters in your story, then you probably will not enjoy it. It is melodramatic. It has larger than life characters, and this is such a typical thing to do in the Gothic storytelling style. Two, if you're looking for deep character development, you will not find it in this novel. All the characters remain rather superficial. We have the innocent damsel and the romantic hero and the villain, the monster of the story. Also, if you're looking for philosophical, social themes, you won't find it here. I think what best describes it is that it is a gothic adventure. I'm going to end this video with a quote from our monster, Andisland. I will permit you to leave my presence with your life, because you are a scoundrel, and every instant that you live, every thought of your heart causes fresh misery for mankind and fresh crime for yourself.